Hello bookworms! It's only been 2 weeks since my last news video and there is like so much new stuff for us to cover, so I wanted to do another one of these really quickly before news starts piling up even more because I feel like this is like peak time for announcements. Everybody is really like looking forward to 2025 and we're getting all of the book covers and stuff for releases that are coming out in like April and May, which are some of the biggest release months for books every year. So we've just got a lot to cover, but it's all really exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll do special editions to kick things off, as always. So first up, LitJoy has announced that they are going to be releasing a special edition of The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. This is the first book in the Stolen Heir duology. The mock-up that they released matches the box set that they did of the Folk of the Air series, and oh my goodness, I just absolutely love the color that they chose for this book. I think it's going to look so nice with the rest of the series. Actually, you can see I have them on my shelves right here. So I actually the other day kind of made like a fairy shelf over there. Not that I'm like, you know, packing and moving it within the next couple of weeks, but it looks good for now. So I'm really excited they're going to be adding to the Holly Black collection. And then they also announced that because they had such an overwhelmingly positive response to the Stolen Heir news, they are also going to be producing a copy of The Prisoner's Throne, but because of their contracts with the publisher, that one's not going to be released until fall of 2025. So it will be coming. It'll just be coming, you know, in the future. Next up, Fairy Loot is going to be producing a matching edition of A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston to go along with her other adult romances. I absolutely love the style that they did for this book. I think that the pink and purple colorway is just so aesthetically pleasing. It's one of like the most beautiful books and I'm really excited to get this one to add to my collection. Fairy Loot also released their mock-up for The Moon Rising by Thea Guanzin. This is the sequel to The Hurricane Wars and I haven't read this one yet, but I have it on my list to read like within the next couple of weeks because I want to see if I need to get this edition too. I'm gonna be honest, I really like the Waterstone special edition better. I think I like the colors that they chose. They have like more like blue, purple, gold going on, and this one is red, black, silver. But knowing Fairy Loot, Below the Dust Jacket is going to be gorgeous, and the Hurricane Wars is probably one of the most beautiful editions that they've ever done. So if I end up enjoying it, I definitely will be getting the matching Fairy Loot one. Next up, the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson is going to be getting a new look. So I can't believe that it's been 10 years since this first book was published. And in order to celebrate that, they're going to be re-releasing the entire series in paperback, including Morrigan, which is a novel that came out after the main trilogy. And they are all really pretty. I love these redesigned covers so much, and they all have really beautiful sprayed pages. These are all paperback editions, and all four will be released simultaneously on May 6th of 2025. And all of the books will be included in the redesign, so that is The Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, The Beauty of Darkness, and as I said before, Morrigan. Next, the Bookish Box announced their special editions of the Luck series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I am so excited because I really enjoy the Luck series. It's so much fun. It's one of those older YA series that is just like very nostalgic, and if you liked Roswell, like you'll definitely enjoy these books. Lux has gotten like a couple of special editions over the years and a couple of cover changes, but none of them have been like really good, and I've always wanted a really pretty editions for my shelves and we finally have them. So I think that the covers, the spines, the end papers, like everything about these are so pretty, so I'm definitely going to be trying to get them. Unfortunately, I'm not subscribed to the Bookish Box, so I'm going to have to be battling it out during general sale, but I'm really hoping for the best because I do think that these are really lovely and it's about time. Next up, Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher is getting re-released in a beautiful new cover and really pretty like teal sprayed pages. I just think that this cover design is gorgeous. And this one's going to be coming on February 25th of 2025. Then the Fine Print by Lauren Asher is going to be getting a special edition. This again is really lovely. I haven't yet read these and I really need to do so because I obviously like love Disney and theme parks. So I think it's something that would really appeal to me, and it's a romance series, but I love that they like basically have the Walt Disney Castle on this, and the blue sprayed pages are really pretty. Obviously love the foiling. I think this is just a super gorgeous edition. And this one's going to be coming on March 25th of 2025. Then Litjoy released their designs for the We Hunt the Flame series by Hafsa Faisal. These are also really lovely. I love the solid colors. I think that they look really nice, and the sprayed pages are also really pretty. Then The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna is going to be getting a 10th anniversary edition. This one's coming out February 18th of 2025, and this is one that will be available in regular bookstores, and I think you can pre-order it already from Barnes & Noble. Next up, Illumicrate revealed their special editions for Iron Widow and Heavenly Tyrant. I'm not 100% sure on how to say the author's name, so I don't want to say it incorrectly, but I know that people have been really highly anticipating the second book in the series. There's been like quite a delay between book 1 and book 2. From what I understand, everyone really enjoys book 1, and if you're one of those people, you can now get really pretty editions for your shelves. Then Litjoy announced that they're going to be doing a special edition of Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. I think their edition is really pretty. I especially love that the back of it looks like a chalk like menu board that you would see when you go to a cafe. However, I feel like I'm so burnt out on special editions of Legends and Lattes. Like, there are just so many of them out there that I don't really feel like another one is necessary, and I would just love to see some other books get special editions that, like, instead of seeing the same one over and over and over again. While I do think that their edition is really, really nice, I think that we are just so oversaturated with Legends and Lattes at this point, despite really enjoying the book. Litjoy also announced and already currently has up for pre-order their edition of Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. I believe this is a romantic suspense novel. I've never read any of Colleen Hoover's books, so I don't really have like too much information about this one, but obviously she is a very popular author, so I wanted to share that in case any of you enjoy her. And I do really like the cover that they chose. Like, I love how the hands look like they're in the shape of like a heart. I think it's so pretty. And then Bookish Box also announced that they're going to be continuing on and doing more books in the Percy Jackson series. So they're going to be coming out with an edition of Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods, and that's going to match their editions of Percy Jackson that they did. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I have them and they're stunning in person. So I'm definitely going to be wanting to continue getting the rest of them in the series. Then Owlcrate announced a holiday box, and they already revealed which book is going to be included, and that is The Night Before Christmas by Sarah Rosh. I thought it was so interesting to see this cover because the design, it's gorgeous, but it is so Christmassy, and the book it either came out really recently or it's coming out like within the next couple of days, and the original cover is very much like Halloween themed. So I feel like this is like a Nightmare Before Christmas situation where it's kind of like combining the best of both holidays, and I'm really, really excited to potentially get this book, and I'm really, really hoping to love it. Then it was announced that Nimona is getting a 10th anniversary deluxe limited edition. It's going to have new cover art, foiling, embossing on the jacket. There's going to be those like French flaps. It's also going to have sprayed edges. It's going to have a new afterword, and it's also going to have like behind the scenes sketches. And this one's going to be coming out on May 20th of 2025. Then the Bookish Box announced that they're going to be doing special editions of To Bleed a Crystal Bloom, which is a series written by Sarah A. Parker. Sarah A. Parker is the author of When the Moon Hatched, which is a recently very, very popular book. So if you enjoyed that one and you want to read more of her stuff and you maybe want special editions, Bookish Box will have you covered. Then I was just scrolling through Instagram and I thought this was so interesting, but it looks like Easton Press did a special edition of A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. And I just thought that was such like a random choice because they usually do more very well-known, very popular books. And I'm not saying that A Fate Inked in Blood is unpopular by any means, but it just doesn't feel like it's at the same level as the books that they usually do, like Lord of the Rings and like in that vein. So yeah. Interesting. Okay, so that's it for special editions. And then moving on to cover reveals, we have quite a lot of these. The first one, which I'm so in love with, is The Robin on the Oak Throne by K.A. Lind. This is the second book in the Oak and the Holly cycle. The first one is The Wren and the Holly Library, and I really love the look of that book too. This is another one that is on my TBR to read like within the next couple of weeks. I'm really excited about it. It's actually on Kindle Unlimited if you haven't read it yet and you have a subscription to that. But I just really love the purple. I really love the sprayed pages, and I'm also really excited to see how Fairy Loot will do do their edition, since I'm assuming that they will continue the series as well. Then we got a cover for Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is the third book in the Rose Hill series. I love the green. I think that this is so beautiful, and I also just really like the way that these three colors go together for the books in the series. We have like neon pink, then neon orange, then neon green, and it kind of like reminds me of highlighters in a really like happy way. This one comes out on March 4th of 2025, and if you look at the mock-up, like the digital mock-up, it also has a smudge like in the same place as the other ones. So just in case you heard me mention that in my book haul video, so it's actually in the mock-up of this next cover as well. Then we got a cover for Captain of Fates by Catherine Weber. This is a spin-off of the Twin Crowns series by Catherine Weber and Catherine Doyle, and I've been really wanting to read these books. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but oh my goodness, do I love this cover. So I think I'm gonna need to do that soon and see if I need to like invest in the series. And I know that LitJoy did special editions of the first like books in the series, but their first special edition is like so different than the second and third that they did. So I'm curious if they would kind of like maybe potentially redesign the first one to match the second two and like re-release them, and I'm like kind of really hoping for that. Next up, I was debating where to put this one, but I decided to put it in cover reveals because we essentially have like 4 different covers to go over here. So Alex Astor, the author of Lightlark, is coming out with her first adult romance book, and the day of the cover reveal and like, you know, a couple days after, it was revealed that there's actually going to be like a whole bunch of editions of these. So let's just kick things off with the standard edition, which is really pretty. I love this pink cover. Obviously, I'm drawn to anything that's set in New York. This first printing will have these like really pretty city pages. Then moving on to the next edition, there's the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. This one's pretty similar, but these sprayed pages have little like New York City taxi cabs on them. Then we have the Target edition, which has a purple heart on the cover and purple sprayed pages. And then like with on those, there's stenciled diamonds and hearts, which is very cute. And then finally, we have the Walmart exclusive edition, and this one has a yellow heart on the cover. It also has yellow sprayed pages, and it also has little like New York icons that are kind of sprayed on the side. So we have like pizza and like an apple and like, you know, typical New York symbols. Then we got the cover for Lore of the Tides by Annalise Sabrana. This is the second book after Lore of the Wilds, and once again, this is like one of the most beautiful covers ever. I still need to read Lore of the Wilds, and I'm really just hoping that I'll love it because I think these covers are gorgeous. We also got a cover for the Bloom edition of Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent. So these were originally self-published and Bloom picked them up. So this is the new cover that will be released once it's traditionally published. Then we got a cover for Spellbound by Georgia Leeton. This one's coming in April of 2025, and it is a feminist retelling of Sleeping Beauty. I feel like it's been a while since we've had a lot of like fairy tale retellings coming out. There was like a period of time when every book was a fairy tale retelling, and I feel like I'm ready for some new ones, because then we had a long time where everyone was kind of over that, but I'm glad that we're kind of like dipping our toes back into it. Then we have a cover for Boys with Sharp Teeth by Jenny Howell. This is a YA like fantasy thriller dark academia novel, and it's described as the Raven Boys meets We Were Liars, which both of those are things that I deeply love, so I really hope that this book lives up to those comp titles. This one's coming April 8th of 2025. Then we have the cover for Never Been Shipped by Alicia Thompson. This one fits in so well with a lot of the other romance covers that I shared in my last news video. It seems like next year romances on the water are going to be like all the rage. Like everything seems to take place like on a boat or in a coastal town, and I cannot complain. This one's coming June 10th of 2025. Then we got a cover for Kill Creatures by Rory Power. This is her next YA horror novel. I feel like it's been a while since Rory has come out with a YA book. She did do that adult series, but everybody loves her YA horror, so I'm pretty excited to see what's next from her. This one's going to come out summer of 2025. Then we have a cover for The Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi. This one's coming in January of 2025. It looks so cute and so cozy, and I just really adore this cover. And it's described as being for fans of Legends and Lattes and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Next up, we got a cover for The River and the Star. This is by Gabriela Romero La Cruz, and this is the next book in the Sun and the Void series. And the sequel sequel is going to be coming out on September 16th of 2025. Next is the cover for The Last Ferry Out by Andrea Bartz. This is a new thriller novel. Again, not a romance, but definitely set on the sea. I'm really, really excited for all of these like oceanic books that we have coming. This one's coming June 17th of 2025. Next is the cover for Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. This is the next book in the series. I really love the color palette that's chosen. Again, like I mentioned with the Ashley Poston book, the purple and pink, like the light lavenders and the pastels, they're just so pretty. This one's coming May 13th of 2025. Then Del Rey announced that they're going to be publishing The Little Witcher, which is a comic collection and actually like doesn't have an author listed. It just says from the minds or from the creative minds of the Witcher video game, and it's illustrated by Giada Carboni, and this is going to be, I think, more aimed towards kids, and it's basically a book about like Geralt being a dad and like monster slaying with his daughter Ciri and like going on adventures. So it sounds like it has the potential to be cute, but I also think it's a strange direction. This one's coming out May 13th of 2025. Then we got a cover for Human Rights by Juno Dawson. This is the third book in the Her Majesty's Royal Coven series. This is the US cover, and this one's coming on June 8th of 2025. Next is the cover for Queen Demon by Martha Wells. This is the sequel to The Witch King, or Witch King. I can't remember if the is in the title. This one's coming July 8th of 2025. We also got a cover for The Study of Fire by Maria V. Snyder. This is a companion novel to Fire Study, and it's coming November 26th in both paperback and hardcover. Then we got a really cool cover for the next book by Richard Swan. This one's called Grave Empire, and I just think the graphics are like so cool. I have not yet read any Richard Swan books, but I very much want to, and this looks very good. This one's coming February 2025. Then Clockwork Boys by T. Kingfisher is getting a new cover and is being re-released by Titan Publishing. This one's coming March of 2025. And finally, we got a cover for Dance With Me by Alexis Daria. This one's coming September 16th of 2025. And then before I move on to book news, or I guess could like potentially be the first thing in book news, but Rachel Gillig, who is the author of One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, announced that we will be getting a cover this week. I think we're supposed to be getting it on Wednesday for her next book, which is called The Night and the Moth, and I am so highly anticipating this book because I love her Shepherd King duology like so much, and I am basically like dying for a new book from her. So more book news. Adalyn Grace announced The Wretched Divine, which sounds incredible. It's her adult debut novel, and it is a romantasy, and it's the first book in a trilogy that's set in a French Renaissance inspired kingdom. The series follows a young knight who is caught in a warring attraction between a vengeful demon and a battle-hardened angel, and she's thrust into the middle of an ancient supernatural conflict. And I really like the teaser art that Adalyn has already shown. I am like on an Adalyn Grace high right now because I finished reading Foxglove and I really loved it, and I'm like dying to read Wisteria as soon as my library loan comes in. And now like this next series just sounds so good, so I'm really looking forward to this. Another favorite author that announced more books is B.K. Borison. So the first book in a new planned trilogy, or like trilogy of companion romance novels, is called Ghosted. The first book is about the ghost of Christmas Past, who has been tasked with basically doing like the whole Christmas Carol thing, but the person that they are doing it on is someone that is described as sweeter than a candy cane, so someone who like already seems like a very nice person. And she's also an antiques shop owner, which sounds really cute. So the first book is coming in fall of 2025, and then book 2 will be fall of 2026, and book 3 will be fall of 2027. Then Jennifer L. Armentrout announced the 6th book in the From Blood and Ash series. The title is The Primal of Blood and Bone, and this one's coming on June 10th of 2025. Then I also realized that I think I forgot to put the title of Emily Henry's next book in my last news video, which is a total oversight because I'm obviously really excited for that book. Her next book is going to be called Great Big Beautiful Life, and she said that it's unlike anything that she's ever published before. It's coming out next next spring. I want to say next May. I'm really, really anticipating this very highly. Oh my gosh. Then I was so excited because Holly Jackson announced that she's going to be writing her first adult thriller. The book is called Not Quite Dead Yet, and it's set for a July 2025 release from Valentine Books. It has such an interesting premise. It's following a main character named Jet, so I'm like really glad that she stayed with the 3-letter main character naming convention. Jet lives like kind of a privileged life. She lives in Vermont in, I want to say it might have been even Stowe, which is like a place I've always wanted to go. And on Halloween night, she gets attacked and she ends up getting some type of like brain injury. Then she basically has 7 days where her brain injury is like deteriorating, and she's like questioning all of her friends and family to figure out who's the one that like attacked her and who wants her dead. It sounds really insane in like a very good way. Then Angry Robot Books announced the rest of the titles for the Summoner series by S.T. Gibson. So we've already gotten Evocation, and the novella Odd Spirits just came out very recently, but there are actually 3 books left in the series. So the first one is Ascension, and by first one I mean book 2. Book 3 is Divination, and book 4 is Transmutation. Then this was really big news. The Broken Binding is going to be traditionally publishing Ryan Cahill's Of Blood and Fire series. So thankfully they did announce that the last book in the series will be simultaneously released, traditionally published like in the new format, and also in the original style of covers so that readers can complete their collections. But the Broken Binding made this deal with Ryan. It was a 6-figure deal, and it includes all 5 novels in the main series and all 4 novellas. So basically a 9-book deal. The first book, Of Blood and Fire, is set to publish in September of 2025. And I'm really excited to see what type of cover like redesign they're going to give it, because I really like the original covers, and I also really like the additions that the Broken Binding has done. So I'm just curious like what direction they're going to go in for this next set. Okay, so then I have this in book news, but since I wrote it down, we actually have gotten a cover. So Shea Earnshaw announced her next YA novel, which is called The Beautiful Maddening. This one's coming out in June of 2025. Shea took a break from writing, so it's been a couple of years since her last book came out, but she announced this one coming summer of 2025, and then she also announced her next adult book, which is going to be coming in 2026, and that one is called Habits of the Sea. Then, so one of you corrected me in my last news video, which thank you so much, because there is a book coming out by an Amy Kaufman that I thought was the Amy Kaufman of the Illuminae files, and is not. It's a different Amy Kaufman, just the same name. So this week I actually do have an announcement from the Amy Kaufman who wrote the Illuminae files. Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, who have worked together in the past, are coming out with a new book called Lady Knights, and it's coming in June of 2025, and it's a sapphic medieval fantasy novel. And then lastly, for book news, it's been announced that Source Books and Hearst are kind of combining forces, and they are opening a new imprint with Cosmopolitan magazine. The new imprint is called Cosmo Reads, and it is launching in the summer of 2025. The imprint is going to focus on inclusive romantic and pop fiction, and they are aiming to publish about 6 titles per year. Okay, then final section, we're moving on to adaptations. I have much more this time around than last time, so here we go. We've got some really good things going on too. So first up, it was announced that Elle Kennedy's Off-Campus series is going to be adapted for television. It's being adapted by Amazon Studios and Temple Hill for television, and having just finished all of the books in the Off-Campus series, I am particularly excited about this announcement. Then we had already known that Frida McFadden's Housemaid was going to be adapted, and now we have actors attached to the project. So both Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried have signed on to play the main female actresses in those series, and I'm really, really excited because I loved The Housemaid. I read that book in a day, like I could not put it down, and I think that the two of them will be such fantastic leads. Then it was announced that Netflix currently has a Pride and Prejudice series in the works, like a TV series, and the writer for the series is Dolly Alderton, who is definitely very popular here on BookTube, so that is something to look forward to. Then is a piece of news that is a little bit older. It's from September, but I know that I haven't mentioned it, and I just wanted to because it's kind of fun. But Netflix ordered like a straight-to-series order of an animated series of Stephenie Meyer's Midnight Sun, so we're getting a Twilight animated series on Netflix, which should be really interesting. Then I feel like this is like the moment that we've all been waiting for, but Hallmark Summer is releasing a Halloween rom-com, and it sounds like so much fun. So it actually is premiering on Saturday, so it will already be out by the time you watch this video. But it's called Haunted Wedding, and it's about ghost hunters who are getting married at like a haunted inn, and I believe there's like an 18th century ghost that is potentially going to hinder the festivities, and it just sounds like so much fun, and I'm so here for Halloween rom-coms. Then it was announced that Princess Diaries 3 is happening, which is wild. It's been so long since Princess Diaries 2, so I'm really interested in like how they're gonna do this. But the only really news that we have so far is that Adele Lim is attached to direct the project, and Adele previously directed Crazy Rich Asians and Raya and the Last Dragon. Then we got the news that Freakier Friday is coming to theaters on August 8th of 2025, and I'm really excited for this one because both Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are reprising their roles. Freaky Friday was like one of my favorite movies when I was in high school, and I'm just so excited to see the next one and like the next generation, and I hope that this will like pull people into watching the original again. Not that that's actually even the original. I think that was like adapted from an earlier movie, but the original when I was young. Then it was announced that Yellowface by R.F. Kuang has been optioned for television. It's being created by Lionsgate, and Karen Kusama is attached to direct the project. Then it was announced that Nobody Wants This has been renewed for a second season. However, there are new showrunners that are attached, which always makes me a little bit nervous. And I feel like the first season was like pretty perfect. So cautiously optimistic about this. Then it was announced that Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover is getting a film adaptation. Universal won the rights after winning in a very large bidding war, and this one is set to hit theaters in February of 2026. And they also announced that Colleen is writing the screenplay alongside Lauren Levine. And then lastly, this is like not bookish related, but I'm just really excited about it. But Netflix announced that they're going to be releasing a special of Olivia Rodrigo's Guts. So kind of how we got like the Eras tour, which was really exciting. We're going to be able to see the LA performance of Olivia Rodrigo from the Guts World Tour. This performance was at the Inuit Dome, and the recorded version is coming to Netflix on October 29th. So I'm like counting down the days. And I'm also really hoping that they'll do the same thing for Sabrina Carpenter, because I've been loving that album too. Okay, that is all of the news that I have to share, which again, like it's been 2 weeks, and that's everything that got announced in the last 2 weeks that I'm excited about, and I think that you guys will be excited about. So I feel like the news flow has just been like constant, but that's good news for us. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you're most excited about, and I will see you guys soon in a new video. Bye!